Okay, so Jason, you're saying everything's connected, we're ready, streaming's on?
Yes, that's correct. We're good.
Okay, in that case, hello everyone, welcome to the November 9th, 2021 meeting of the Williamsburg Area School District Board of Directors. We will open today with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
Okay, Ms. Cruz, we have everybody here today. And we'll move on then to the approval of the agenda. We don't have any changes, right, Dr. Klein? Okay, so it's as is. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Any questions at all? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, on to the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve minutes from our last meeting?
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain.
Okay. Okay, superintendent report, Dr. Klein.
Okay, a few things here. I have one, just give you an update on our numbers. We do have 22 students that are positive right now and 5 staff members. We have a little bit of a hot spot in our middle school on a team in 6th grade, which has the majority of the 14, not all. I don't believe it's all of them, but we had the majority of those 14. I think we have around 10 or so in that team positive, plus a teacher or a staff member. And I think there's one questionable that we're waiting to hear. So we're keeping a close eye on that. Also, at this point, just to let the board know, the governor came out yesterday and has given us the go ahead that the mask mandate will be lifted January 17th. Districts can make their own decision whether they want to hold it or not. And you know what, I am recommending that we go back to our original plan, which is still in place, making an option, masks, and also sticking with our original plan from the beginning of the year. We had to observe the mandate earlier in the school year, but now January 17th, that would be lifted, and it would be my recommendation we go back to our original plan. That's the second thing. The third thing, it's really been a pleasure working with 3 of our board members. Okay. It's really been a pleasure to work with 3 of our board members who are going off the board. Mr. Wingert, who's been on the board, has served on the board and has done a great job with our facilities committee. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and also to have you on here with a different point of view and a very calm approach about you. I think we've all really appreciated.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
And we also, and Mr. McDonald, it's been a pleasure to have you on with your different point of view, your sense of humor that you have quite often. And it's been a pleasure working with.
Thank you. It's been a professional honor.
And then Mrs. Bagel, it's certainly been a pleasure working with you. You have been a board member, I believe, for 12 years. And according to the Pennsylvania School Board Association, that deems some special recognition, which I'd like to do right now. And then actually I'd like to recognize all 3 of the board members right after that. But at this time, Mrs. Baker, I would like to present you with a certificate from PSBA. It's called the Honor Roll for School Board Service because of your 12 years on the school board. And you have to have 12 years, I believe, in order to qualify. So the rest of you, if you want this.
Goal.
That's a goal.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I have
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that.
I think with two of you that have been teachers that retired from the district, now you have a bell for each hand. I stole that from Mrs. Kerr. So, and again, it has been a pleasure and thank you. One thing I think we've done over the last 4 years is we work you guys pretty hard, and there is a lot of work to it, a lot of things that you have to deal with. You don't realize when you get on the board, there's so much to it. And I just appreciate your service to the community and particularly to our kids, because that's why we're here.
And I would just echo that you really don't know what the job entails. There are people, nobody on this board, but there are some that just show up, every other week and kind of vote. But, I think if you're really invested in the job, you do a lot more than that. And, we've had our trials with the dealing with COVID and, we've had some tough things we've had to work through and they've stuck through it. It was hard at times, the political climate makes it difficult, but I am very, very grateful that these three and the rest of the board, has stuck it out. They tried to get through their term, what they were elected to do. So thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to work with Kurt, Pat, and Bonnie. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to public comment. As always, you have the right to speak about whatever topic school related you wish. You come up, if you do come up, please give your name, address, and you will be limited to 5 minutes for your comments. Please avoid any kind of personal attack. That's not what we're about. So would anybody like to speak today? Okay, if anything comes up during the meeting and you'd like to speak to that, you will have a chance at the end of the meeting as well. So seeing nobody's interested in talking right now, we will move on to fall recognitions. And I believe, Dr. McCallum, are you going to be our MC for the ill Dr. or Mr. McElwain?
I'm not sure if he's ill or just wore out his voice cheering on the football team.
There you go. There you go.
So I believe we're going to recognize football at another time, but obviously we're tremendously excited. I am told, because I am not a Waynesboro originator, that this is the first time we have made it past the first round for football. So super excited. Sent a Borough blast out today with information about a fan bus for students chaperoned by moi, and also information for families that would want to go on their own. Okay. I'm told there's a slide deck that I can follow. All right, so as we have discussed in the past, we are very excited to cheer on our athletes as they participate in their different games and matches throughout the season. And, we continue to be very proud of our students who excel not only on the court, on the field, but also in the classroom as well. So the volleyball team also were the Mid-Penn champions, and I believe that was back-to-back. For Mrs. Saunders, that's correct. Okay, so it was super exciting. So we have the members of the Mid-Penn team as Emily Channing. Or do you want to read this, Ms. Saunders?
A lot of times the coach comes up.
Okay, I'm gonna let Coach do that. They're her players. Come on down. And Mrs. Nystrom is the assistant coach. I don't know if
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Kim Saunders, and I just finished my 10th season here at Waynesboro School District, and I oversee the volleyball program. I'd like to thank Dr. Klein, Dr. Sterner-Hein, and all the board members for your continued support, as well as Principal McCallum, Eric McElwain, and Heather Arstead for their support within the building for our program. As the only indoor fall sport, we are thankful once again to have been able to participate, and we are more thankful, as she said, that we had a successful campaign. The JV squad led by Emily Nystrom finished the campaign of 14-5, 15-3 this year, and that was very successful. The varsity had a tremendous season, finishing we were 14-5, sorry. And we were Mid-Penn Colonial Division champions. So at this time, you want me to, okay, excellent. We had 11 members on that squad, and I would start with Kiera Maurer. Data Krieger. Aiden Fisher. Haven King. Adam Scahill. Ashley Donald. Whitty. Maddie Bolts. Emily Channing. And Hannah Nepper is rushing over from work. She'll be here shortly. Oh, I thought I said her. Abby McElroy. The volleyball team once again did qualify for district play, and we were excited about that. We were given or earned a number 10 seed. Unfortunately, this year, we had the same opponent that we had last, the Hershey Trojans, and we were unsuccessful. However, not everyone can be successful in their last match. So we had an outstanding season. We did receive 6 all-conference nominations, and I would like to call those ladies up as well. Sladen Fisher received an honorable mention with 139 kills. Senior and homecoming court member Hannah Nepper was second team all conference with 144 kills. Senior homecoming court member Maddie Bolts, who this recognition is extremely special because she changed positions for us this year. She was a DS, which is a defensive specialist / right side, and she was still able to make all conference second team, which is outstanding, with 172 digs, 25 aces, and 11 kills. Sophomore Haven King was the outside hitter, received a second team all conference nomination or bid with 178 kills, 31 assists, 56 digs, and 28 aces. Senior Ashley Donald, our libero, was first team all conference with 292 digs and 16 aces. And Emily Channing, homecoming court member, you have to put that in there. First team all conference as our setter, our quarterback. She had 527 assists this year, 14 kills, and 64 digs. I'd like to recognize that Emily received the Gold Star Standard this year when she recorded her 1,000th assist during our district match, which is a feat within itself. So I'd like to give her a special recognition. 10 years, I completely enjoy leading this program, and my ladies are tremendous athletes and student athletes. Unfortunately, we haven't had our banquet yet, so I don't have numbers on how many made the honor roll, but I do suspect that we'll have all 23 members on that as well.
Wow,
Thank you so much.
thanks.
So we like to take a picture We're going to do that at the end of all of the recognition, and my good friend Mrs. Eberhardt is going to help me with that. So also, Maddie Bolts is the first of a few of these friends that we're going to recognize that was also Student of the Month, Learner of the Month. Trying to get her vernacular going here. What sport is next, Miss Kuzer?
Golf.
Looks like golf. I had the opportunity to join the golf team on the course. I don't golf myself. I know nothing about the sport, but I had a nice tour from Coach Henderson. Come on up.
Evening, folks. How are you? Good to
Hello.
see you. So I guess I'll just do a little wrap up here of our season. My team did finish undefeated once again. So this year we were 25-0. Last season we were 30-0, and the last 3 seasons we were 83-2 overall. So sorry, Coach Saunders, but we went there. Did maybe just like one step better. Sorry. And we did win our division the last 3 years. And so very thankful for that. And we had a lot of success. Had 5 players make it to the postseason this year. That's the most of any team in our division. I had 3 go on to districts. Ella Lowry, my senior, and then I had Dylan Byers and my freshman Tyler Fortney also made it to districts. And the boys made it to day 2. Dylan just missed a playoff by 2 strokes, and Tyler, my freshman, this kid's gonna be special, by the way. He missed it just by 4 strokes. So I think that was a good ending to their season. But Ella, she made it through districts all the way to states. Had a wonderful experience, and thank you again for your support with that whole process. And speaking of thank yous, I must thank the country club, because without their support, this program, we would be, well, average at best. There are schools out there that are competing for places to practice at and to play at. And here we have a club who's willing to donate, the use of their facilities to us. And it's phenomenal. And every team that comes there just tells me personally, hey, coach, man, what a nice golf course. This is great. I'm like, you have no idea. This is fantastic. We are so lucky. So if any of you are club members, thank you very much personally. But again, without the club support, I would struggle. So thanks to the country club as well. But other than that, any questions for me? And as far as academic awards, I know that I have some students who are very, very smart. But Heather, I think, has to do those reports here at some point in the near future. So, but I'm sure I also will be getting some of those awards as well. And what do you have there? Are these for? Okay,
Oh.
my name's a friend. I don't think, is Eli here? Do you guys see Eli? Eli. So I think Dylan is here. Dylan Byers, come on down. And my freshman, Tyler Fortney, I think he's here. Come on down, Tyler. Okay, did Brandon make it tonight? Brandon Moss? Hey, Brandon. Well, I do know Ella is here. All right.
Also,
Oh, by the way, yes. Dylan Byers was also, he escorted Ella by homecoming court.
as in Tyler was person.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right,
Excellent
Ella
stuff.
Lowry. come on. All right, folks. So thank you again for all your support. And any questions for me? You okay?
Another great season, Coach. Thank
Thanks, I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right, it looks like boys soccer is next. So is Coach Sun here?
Evan, we'll promise to get you one of these. Evan Stein, please stand up and be recognized.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come in tonight. Thank you very much for your support through the years. Kim's been here 10 years. I've had the pleasure of coaching for 9. This year has been a very challenging year. Last year, we graduated all but 1 starter. So this year was a relatively young team overall as far as numbers go. And we still ended up, even with that experience, playing for a possibility of a district playoff game. And we missed that by 1 game. So the kids performed well. They played hard. I was very proud of them. We don't have our academic stuff yet. Again, we have our banquet this coming Saturday, so I'll get that. Typically, our team is a high honor team, and I'm very proud of that because at the end of the day, the bills get paid by academics, not so much by our feet. And so we stress that in a big way. That being said, the gentleman behind me, Bryson Shaw, was our goalie this year. Bryson single-handedly at times was the reason for our success. This young man has been a 4-year starter for our varsity team. He right now is currently a high honor student and is being recruited by University of Kentucky, several large universities, as well as very good Division II and Division III schools. So we will be anxious to see what his future looks like, but I know it is very bright. Blake Carball made the second team. He's a multiple sport athlete here in Waynesboro. He's getting ready to go into his basketball season. Blake played most of the season this year with injury and played very tough. And at times, I know walking off the field, there was a lot of pain going home. Couldn't be more proud of this young man. And so that being said, the second team for him was very well deserved. It was a very stringent process for the All-Star program this year. Our division was very strong. In fact, 2 teams out of our direct division ended up district title and second in the district for the championship. So that doesn't usually happen out of a single division. So that being said, we're very proud of these 2. Andrew Soph could not make it tonight. Andrew Soph is a sophomore. Making honorable mention is a big deal as a sophomore, especially in the division that we had. So we have a bright future. The young men that we have are working very hard and are very dedicated to the craft. And once again, I couldn't be more proud, and thank you very much for your support. So thank you.
All right, we are now on to the Maidens soccer team. Coach Fisher. We have another student of the month. Cameron.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for recognizing our student athletes. We really appreciate the recognition. We feel like we have a lot of students in our district and specifically on our soccer team that do some great things. So again, we appreciate you acknowledging those folks. So this year we have 3 people on the basically that were honored in terms of the Mid-Penn All-Stars. So Becca Cordell is a senior. She's a 4th-year player who plays with tremendous heart. She almost got injured walking up here, but she managed to stay safe all season. So yeah, she's a great young lady. She's going to be playing in college somewhere. She's still deciding between a few schools. So grateful to have her on the team. And again, just tremendous heart. So lucky to have Becca on the team. The second person here is Kim Whitty. Cam's been here before, a couple years ago. She's a current junior. Another defensive person like Becca, who is just really relentless, just never quits. I will say that all three of the young ladies here represented are really strong academics. They're strong character as well, good practice players, and just set a good example for everyone. So they're just really just great individuals. So I think that's really important. Last but not least, we have Nikki Davis here, who is a freshman. And she led our team in goals and assists this year as a freshman. She was one of the 2 freshmen selected out of the 30 players selected overall in the mid-pen. And so that's kind of the situation with that. We had a season where we were not successful from a record standpoint. However, we had a lot of close games, a lot of 1-goal games, a lot of 2-goal games. There's at least 3 teams that were actually in our conference that actually made states as well. Some of them are still playing right now. So we lost, to give you an example, to Lower Dolphin 2-0, and they were, I think, 16-2 this season. They're still playing in state. So we competed hard. We just didn't quite have what we needed to have to kind of get to the next level. But on the bright side of things, we had multiple games where we had 6 and 7 freshmen and sophomores starting. So we're excited for that, for the future opportunities. And I'm just grateful to coach them. They're, again, strong character ladies, really focused on academics and great athletes as well. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Right, and we are now on to the field hockey team, Coach Hoffman, who I think brought an adorable sidekick.
I'll help you.
Thank you guys for honoring these girls. I don't know if they want to go ahead and come on up. So we maybe did not have the most success if you look at our record, but these girls, 3 out of 4 of these girls have been with me for 4 years. So they have helped change the culture. We've been working really hard of off-season training, working out in the weight room. These girls lifted every single day that we had practice. So they would be at the school till 5:30. They would have practice till 4:30, go lift from 4:30 to 5. So every single day. So I think that just shows their dedication to the team and to changing the culture a little bit here for our field hockey team. So 3 of the girls here. So the first one is Presley Hanasek. She's a senior. She made first team, which is a huge honor for her. Chloe Smith and Alexis Thompson, again, a huge honor. And Alexis is a freshman. Chloe is a senior. So they both have been key components in Presley to our offense. So. Real honorable mention. And I just want to say for Hope, Hope has played every single position for me, including goalie. So she has really legitimately taken one for the team at any opportunity needed. Chloe and Hope were both also captains, so they just took one. They would both take one for the team if needed. Hope literally took one for the team. So. Thank you, guys.
All right, I have cheerleading up next, Coach Aristad. Oh, it's also a fill-in, Coach McFerrin.
Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle McFerrin. I'm in my 5th season here at the Waynesboro Area Senior High School as the JV cheerleading coach and competitive spirit assistant cheer coach. First off, I would like to thank the Waynesboro Area School District, our building level administration, my fellow coaches, Heather Arstad, who couldn't be here this evening, Holly Frazier and Tina Martinez, and of course, Mr. McAwam, for all the support that we've had this year and in previous years. On behalf of the entire program, I would also like to thank the school board and the district as a whole for the purchase of our full panel mats so we can practice safely and effectively as we move forward into the competition season. That's been a really big asset to us, and I am grateful for that. In the fall, we have 2 teams that are comprised of the JV team and the varsity team, and in the winter, we move forward with 1 squad. Some favorite highlights that I have of this fall season would have to be the compliments that we get on our giant battle flags on Friday nights whenever we have a touchdown. We get compliments from our fans and also fans from schools that we actually travel to about how put together, sharp, and how spirited our team looks. And I feel like that feels really good as a coach. Another highlight was also this past Friday night, whenever during Indian fans in the stands, we had our awesome admin team, Dr. McCallum, Mrs. Kopko, Mr. Jenkins. They were down there doing it with the kids, and they thought that was really awesome. This past year in the summertime, the cheer team, they traveled to Pine Forest, which is a cheer camp that's been established since the 70s, doing specifically cheer camps. And they were able to attend there. And at that camp, they learned the 5 pillars of what being a cheerleader for UCA is, and that's being an ambassador for your school, a crowd leader, an entertainer, a spirit raiser, and most importantly, being an athlete. While at camp, they learn how to do different stunts to be safe, different material and stuff like that. And they also have the opportunity to try out to be an All-American cheerleader. So when we do that, they are taught a routine, jumps, sideline. They get a minimal amount of time to learn that material, and then they perform it in front of judges. And it's just basically showing all around like what a cheerleader is. So we had 6 cheerleaders successfully qualify as All-American cheerleaders this year. 4 of them could not be here tonight, but I feel like I need to recognize them. First, we have our first-year varsity cheerleader, and that would be Shabrai Benedict. We have captain and senior Iona Burton, captain and senior Aaron O'Connor, captain, senior, and homecoming queen Jasmine Fraser Hewitt. They all were unable to make it tonight, but they all qualified as All-American cheerleaders. Tonight, I am able to recognize the 2 people that could be here with us. First, I have this cheerleader who I've actually coached since the 7th grade before she moved into high school. She's always willing to put in extra work, teaching younger cheerleaders who are new to our program, new skills. And she always comes with the best attitude, and that is senior captain Belle Bakener. The second cheerleader that I have this evening is a freshman, and she has really showed personally to me what it means to be a cheerleader, to be proud of your community, to work hard for your school, and to really, I guess, bleed blue and gold in that way. She has worked very, very hard on her own time and at practice, and she's actually been floating up to help assist us on some Friday night football games. She tried out for All-American as a freshman, and she was able to earn that, and that is Miss Carmen Dominguez. Like Coach Saunders said, grade reports aren't out yet, but we have a higher standard for our program, and I'm really happy to report I'm pretty sure that out of both teams, all of my kids made the honor roll. So I'm pretty happy for that. Thank you so much for everything.
Right. I think it's last but not least, the girls and boys cross country team, Coach Atkinson. I think this is my biggest step.
I also want to thank you all for supporting our team and our athletes here at Waynesboro. We appreciate the time and we appreciate the funds that go into it. Now, I told these guys at our pizza party last week that I think they are some of the hardest workers that we have around here. I know every coach says that, but most of these guys were out here leading since the season ended last year, all through the summer. They were here for morning practices every day, all the summer. They were here leading at practices all season too, just like we would expect them to as coaches. But I do want to say last year we did not have any district qualifiers. They had set up a different type of standards. This year we had 13. And to qualify for districts, you had to be a certain within 21 of the team members on mid-pen meet. So we did pretty well. So I'd like to recognize these kids. Isaac Motes.
Okay. Next is Bella Ruffel. Here's
Thank you.
I like to try to post pictures on our social media page, but it's hard with cross country because they run around everywhere. So sorry that we didn't get more shout outs on social media. We'll try to do better with that next year. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't take cross country till Karis gets out there. So if we can, everybody okay with me switching board reports and the student report? Okay, good. Then we'll do that. She'll be out in just a second. Last. I was gonna have, because she's next. Can you take it? Okay, great. Okay, moving on. Board report. Or not board report, student report. Sorry. Come on up. Yeah, please. No. Nope.
Not turned on?
Okay. Oh, well. We tried.
All right. So, you can hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So this coming Friday, it's kind of a big Friday for our school. We've got senior sunrise in the morning. All the seniors going to be here at 6:30, very early. But that'll be super exciting as like a nice way to get together and celebrate and like commemorate all the exciting times we've had over the years. So everyone's looking forward to that. And I think what I've heard is that there's going to be donuts and coffee and hot chocolate. So that should be a really nice time. So we're all really grateful for that and that opportunity. Additionally, that day, we're running an early dismissal schedule because we're having Kindness Day. And we don't actually know what's going on with that. It's been kept a secret from us, but we're all very excited. We've heard that it's going to be similar to Relationship Day that we've had in years past. So I think everyone's looking forward to that. This month is Homeless Awareness Month in our school. NHS is partnering with FBLA. They're both kind of working together on this project. It's NHS's service project right now. They're doing a sticky bun fundraiser to hopefully buy a fridge freezer for the homeless shelter downtown. And FBLA has put bins outside the library and office for supplies, in addition to a monetary donation bin in the cafeteria. So another thing is students have expressed interest in doing a winter formal. So the class of 2022 Executive Council has decided to take that on, and they plan to submit a proposal to Dr. McCallum, which will then eventually come up here. So just that's something to have on the radar that is going to be popping up in the next few weeks. Yeah, and I think that's everything.
And that would be held here on
and
premises.
Similar to homecoming in years past, like in the cafeteria.
Right.
Would be the goal, I believe.
Oh, you used to, how they used to decorate?
I'm not sure what the decoration plan is.
The decorations they had when they had here, I'm sure some of you guys remember seeing that. You didn't even know what part of the building you were in.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. The way they used
Yeah,
to
my
decorate.
freshman homecoming, that was
I
decorated
remember going
in
through
here.
a castle one time and I'm
Mhm.
like, where am I? You know, it was awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't do that, but
Yeah.
that to that extent. But
Yes, so
okay.
that's a growing idea,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll know more in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. If we have any questions, Riley, you'll have to jump in and before Karis gets back and answer whatever we would ask. Okay. Okay, moving on then to board reports. Anybody have any board reports?
Well, I'll start. Facilities Committee is meeting this coming Monday, and we're meeting at Clayton, and it's going to be at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock start time.
Okay. Academic will be meeting the 17th at 9. Is it 9 or 10? Do I know the answer to that one? 10? 9. Usually it's 9.
10.
You have it at 10? Okay, it'll be 10 o'clock on the 17th. Anyone else?
Policy doesn't meet until December.
Personnel met this evening
Mhm.
prior to executive. I think
We're going to meet in December.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. Got it? Okay, moving on to business. Dr. Sternerheim, student waivers.
Thank you, Mrs. Harold. The recommendation is to approve the student waivers as discussed in the executive session prior to the board meeting.
Motion,
Move to approve.
questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. On to personnel, Dr. Sternerheim.
Thank you, Mrs. Harold. We have a listing of resignation of support staff, reassignment of professional staff, reassignment of support staff, appointments of support staff, appointments of coaching staff, appointments of before and after school programs, appointments of substitute support staff. In addition, we had to make a correction to a professional hire that was brought to your for your approval last board meeting as a result of not having the credit year. And then there's a series of 7 leaves of absences. The recommendation is to approve as listed.
Motion,
So moved.
Second.
questions? Okay, if not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the MOA on cyber learning.
Okay, the
Dr. Klein.
memorandum of agreement here that we have is something we've been working on for a while. As you know, the district is in negotiations with the association. There's a two-parter here. You have the cyber learning part of this agreement and also an MOA for column movement for employees or teachers of the WAEA. And with both of those together, we are recommending that you approve the two.
Motion,
Second.
questions for Dr. Klein? Very good. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and elementary Inspire.
Okay, this is an extension of the program. We have the Elementary Inspire, which is currently 3 to 5, grades 3 to 5. We've seen a lot of success with that program, and we would like to extend that program K to 5. And if we do that, we have a program then that is K to 12 for trauma, which we believe has benefited the district over the last few years. And I believe Mr. Keck here. There he is. So I had asked Mr. Keck to be here if he is the CEO of Laurel Life, and I had asked him to come in case you had any questions about the new program. And as you know, we had sent out some data which shows from other districts the effectiveness of some of the changes of transitioning kids back into the regular classroom. So any questions for Mark?
I just, are most of your programs K through, the elementary K through 5, or do most of them start that early, I guess is my question.
That's okay. Wayne, your district would be, first of all, thank you for allowing me to have a few minutes to chat with you this evening. We appreciate the support and the partnership we have with your district. To answer your question, you would be the 3rd district in the state to have K to 12. We
Wow.
serve 10 districts right now.
Always felt that if we would help these children in the beginning, they would not need it in 4, 5, and 6. Starting.
Any other comments that you want to make, Mr. Keck, or just?
Well, one of the things that it's been a pleasure to partner with your district, and I have to say that the key that we've seen in the last decade has been a strong gatekeeper, and Dr. Sternerheim has served in that role, and it's been a real asset to be able to have a cornerstone person that can help us and we roll programs out. Of course, our high school model is new to you this year. The other 2 programs are in their 3rd year. And so the results have been positive, and in some of the ways, the number of transition students transitioning out of the program, you're ahead of the curve versus some of the other districts in the state. So that's an exciting thing to report.
Really exciting.
Okay,
Good to hear.
all right.
Yeah, it's
Thank
fabulous.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, do we have a motion on this? No, okay. Do we have a motion to approve the addition of K through 2?
So
Move to
moved.
approve. Okay, I'll do the second.
All
Okay,
right.
Mr. McDonald, seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Questions, other questions? Comments? All right, if not, all those in favor of approving this, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, on to WAM's Assistant Principal, Acting / Permanent, Dr. Sternheim, right? Or is that Dr. Klein?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. What we are asking is that we would like to take the, right now, currently at the middle school, one of the assistant principal positions is currently an acting position. What we're proposing is to make it permanent. That team has been very strong, and we'd like to keep that team together for a while. And, so we're asking to go from acting to permanent.
A motion? Mrs.
Second.
Zimmerman, seconded by Mr. McDonald. Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, facilities review. Is that you, Mr. Holtzman?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
What we're proposing here is something we've run through with the facilities committee. The goal is to basically have Crabtree Rohrball go through the facilities and identify projects that the facilities committee has looked at for a long period of time, items that would qualify for ESSER funding. So this is the one-time funding that we would have to use. The goal is to have them do kind of a site review with each building and then come back and bring the list of those recommendations, items that the committee has found, as well as any other items that they feel that might be necessary as part of that. So to do that, we are asking to engage with them again. We've used Crabtree for many years now, probably since 2011, 2012 timeframe. We were waiting back for some feedback from our solicitor on the contract itself. However, if you note, it's actually identified as the Carl Beard template because they actually created this contract specifically for our attorney in the past. So we feel pretty comfortable bringing that forward to you.
And what's the bottom line on this? I see it here.
There really no cost at this stage of the game. They're willing to do basically the work under the concept that hopefully that they'll have some projects, but there's no guarantee that they'll have projects. But that's the idea, is that they would hope, for example, we have heating and ventilation systems that are quite ancient. We have windows that are 45 to 50 years of age. So there's certainly some items out there that we feel that are necessary to.
Okay, do we have a motion on this?
Move to approve.
Questions for Mr. Holtzman? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
representative to, and the alternate to the Tax Bureau, that's Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This is for the Tax Collection Committee and the Franklin County Area Tax Bureau. Effectively, I'm your representative, and Caroline Royer, who actually works for Greencastle, is the alternate. That's the way it is today. It's worked out pretty well that way. If one of us can make the meeting or cannot make the meeting, they can serve as the alternate. It becomes important from a quorum perspective, especially with the schools for the Tax Collection Committee. So effectively, we need to have several schools there to be present to have a quorum. It's a little bit of a different voting structure than the Tax Bureau. I did reach out to Ms. Royer. She's willing to serve and continue in that. And then she would always reach out to us and ask if we have any concerns, if she needs to vote in a different manner for that upcoming board meeting. We have about 4 board meetings.
Okay, motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Strite. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and another tax thing, Franklin County Area Tax Bureau operating budget, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So annually, the Franklin County Area Tax Bureau presents a budget for their board to approve. The budget that you have in front of you is what the board has approved, and that's important. However, the member districts have to vote and approve this agreement before it becomes truly active. So a majority of those districts have to do that. I think it's 14 or 15. Ms. Strite might remember better than I do at times on how many have to actually approve this budget. So that would be our district as well as the other neighboring districts and the other boroughs and municipalities would have to vote on this as well. So once they vote on this in a majority vote and approve that, that is the budget for the following year. And I guess I probably should have started this off with, this is the collection of earned income taxes. So this is a requirement that we have this centralized at a county level. So we follow, I think it's Act 32 of 2008, if I remember. And effectively, the tax bureau's job is to collect the taxes and stay underneath of 2.2% as a collection rate. So they clearly have on their budget here below 2.2%. We don't feel that there'll be any problems meeting that. In fact, they kept the revenues flat, which given the rise in terms of inflation and salaries, I'm sure that's a little actually lower number. We would anticipate a lower collection rate than 2.2%, which is good. So we're asking for the board's approval of the budget, which is $1,427,506.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Holtzman, fund balance assignment.
Yeah, I apologize. We're catching a lot of items here this.
Okay.
Talking about capital projects, obviously we have ESSER projects, but we also potentially have non-ESSER projects down the road. This is not an obligation at any time right now for the district itself. What we're simply recommending is that we have at least $2.5 million of projects we've identified over the next 5 years. And we're asking the board to go ahead and move $2 million from the unassigned to the assigned fund balance. This is purely within your ability to move the money into it and then move the money right back out over into unassigned if you so choose at the next meeting. It doesn't obligate you for any projects. So if the facilities committee and the board comes to determine down the road that you don't want to pursue those, we can always move that money back into it. It is effectively, and I hate to use this phrase, but it really is a right pocket, left pocket situation. It doesn't even change the account that the money actually truly sits in itself, but it is a designation from our financial books.
Motion? Or are we not? Yeah, okay, we are acting on this. Okay, motion to approve this movement?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, on to the fund balance assignment of accumulated sick leave. Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Very similar to the capital projects, moving that into assigned. We're asking also to move from unassigned to assigned money to cover the accumulated sick leave. We have a lot of employees who very thankfully don't need their sick time. They accumulate that sick time and then we pay that to them upon their retirement. So what we did is a bit of a sensitivity analysis. We certainly didn't assume that 100% of those funds would have to be paid out down the road, but we assumed about 60% of those funds might have to be paid out. So again, very similar to the previous conversation, this recommendation is to basically move it from unassigned to assigned. Truly, again, the board can at a future meeting move it right back over. There's no penalty, there's no cost or anything along those lines. So, and again, this doesn't truly change anything that you have in a contract. This just basically has funds that cover those future expenses down the road.
Well, I think 6 of us wish this existed several years ago before we retired, but.
And we certainly benefit from having as many teachers here who are possible to be here every day. So benefit from that.
Okay, so do we have a motion on this?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Is this new?
The benefit itself is not new, but we have not had a liability for that in the past. You're right, Dr. Rule.
So the reason we do this is why?
We do this just to kind of make sure that we're recognizing this from a financial perspective for down the road, that we recognize we do have a liability and we should have funds set aside to cover that future liability. But the benefit itself has existed for many years. We've just never really put that on the financial books. We do have a separate benefit. If you remember, there was a retirement benefit that ended in 2013.
That's assigned already.
And that's assigned already. We just have never done this. I don't know why we never did this, but that's a
That's
situation.
the current rate based on the current CPA.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you have to do to qualify for that? Can you?
I think it's
Sorry.
any unaccumulated sick days, and I'm going to try to remember if it's $55 off the top of my head
mean,
per day.
How
I'm
many,
sorry.
how many years do you have to have for retirement to get that? Is there a minimum
This
number?
one I think is just for retirement basis, I believe. I'd have to
Anyone
double
that's
check the CPA, but this one doesn't have strictly to do with a time
Okay.
frame. They don't have to be here 20 or 30 years like the other benefit was.
Okay.
Correct.
This benefit hasn't been around forever. I was gonna say, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we didn't have this, but, okay, all right. Any other questions? Not? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to, let's see, where are we? Resolution for 20, whatever the number is there, occupation tax. Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Sorry. So this is the occupation tax. We've talked about this several times in the past. Just for, I guess some background information, this tax dates back to 1965. We are not allowed to change it. So we can't go out and say, inflation would tell you that a $15 tax bill should be $150 today. We have to leave it at that rate. We've reviewed this with our solicitor as well. What's interesting is that any employee who's working, or I'm sorry, any person who's working in the community, they effectively have 3 taxes based on that income. If you can imagine that from a local perspective, they pay earned income taxes, which we just talked about with the bureau who collects that. They actually pay a local services tax. And what's really special about both of those is they come right off of the paycheck. So for an average employee, you're paid, they come right off the paycheck. You don't have to file anything. You don't get an extra bill, nothing separate. We do have this third tax, which is what we're talking about now. And this is the occupational tax. The rate goes from $15 to $135, but about 89% of our community, our working adult age folks, pay either zero because they qualify for no payment, whether that means that they're not working outside the home, military, anybody in the clergy, things of that nature, or they pay $15 or $30. So you can imagine, we go through a lot of work with 14,000 tax bills. Predominantly, they're $15 or $30. About 1/3 of these tax bills go delinquent every year, meaning we didn't catch the person the right way. They've moved already. They missed the tax bill. That in turn generates additional fees and costs that they have to pay the third-party collector on top of the $15. It's one of those taxes where, again, you always want to be fair and efficient. And this one really is tough to say that it's really fair and really efficient. The rates were set back in 65. So a great example, we have a couple of them in there, but EMT, so an emergency medical technician would pay $45. However, a registered nurse, which again, comparing that to an EMT, is only paying $30. You have physical therapists who might require a master's or possibly a doctorate, pay the same rate as a physical therapist assistant. So, and you have this throughout this set of occupation tax. In 1965, it made a lot of sense. And today, again, our discussion point with this is it's effectively the only local tax that's not attached to that paycheck. It's something we have to go completely through a separate process to bill. So what we're recommending is an adoption to eliminate the tax starting with the next tax year. Doesn't affect the current tax bills that everybody has today, and it doesn't affect anything in the past, but it will only affect tax bills going forward July 1st for the occupation bills. Probably the last thing I would like to bring up is that our tax collectors who've done a great job of collecting this tax for us currently and in the past, one of the items was that our tax rate, or compensation rate, I should say, was very low for our tax collectors. We were paying about $1.21 a bill years ago, not that many years ago, for our tax collectors. We've now brought that rate up a little bit, kind of offset that with the concept that those who were elected have a little bit more fair rate starting next year with the real estate tax bills. And that was important to us to make sure that our tax collectors are being treated fairly as well.
Okay, eliminating a tax here. Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Questions? Comments? I'm sure a lot of people would be happy about it.
Postage. Over. I don't think we.
Talking to Mike, please, Mrs.
Oh,
Baker.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I said the amount of money we spend on postage, sending out this bill 2 or 3 times, and the people that have to work for it, it's really not helping us. The person up in Harrisburg that does the collecting gets the money. We get maybe $15 2 years later. It's really I think a bad tax. I'd like to see it go.
Just to clarify, how much did we get off the occupational tax last year, Mr. Holtzman?
Sure, our net was, and I had that number here, I wanted to say it was about $135,000. That's net of all of the expenses.
Okay.
So it's less than 0.2% of our revenue at the end of the day. The cost to collect it, if you remember earlier, we talked about earned income taxes. Their goal is to keep it under 2.2, and they easily do that every year. This one costs somewhere around, depending on the year, anywhere from 27 to 37%. So you can imagine it costs $27 to $37 to collect $100 on a tax, which, again, a very difficult type tax to try to obtain.
Okay. Anything else for anyone? All right. If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stripes abstaining on that. You got that, Ms. Kuzer? All righty. Okay, on to the LIU agreement. Who would that be?
I can't speak to it if you want
Okay.
to, Dr. Klein. That's up to you. Okay, this is an annual agreement that we have for IDEA Section 619. This is a pass-through for early intervention. We typically bring this to you every year where the IU provides these services. And the amount of the allocation is $7,392.
Okay, motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, policy, second reading.
Okay, that's the second reading on both 824 and 903. The policy committee has been working on these, excuse me, have been working on these policies for some time with a number of others. And these are two that they have agreed to move on to adoption to the board for approval. So again, it's maintaining professional adult student boundaries, and which actually was recommended by our solicitor. And 903 is public participation.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and we have looked at, especially, is it 824? 824 quite a bit. I know the policy committee's worked long and hard on these. Any comments, Mrs. Sullivan, or anybody else on policy?
They have been in our hands and in lots of other hands. Everyone has gone over them and over them and over them. And I feel pretty comfortable that we got it this time.
Yes.
Due to the changes in the participation policy, you may want to think about putting something on the website outlining what that's going to require.
For the 903?
Yeah.
903, okay. Okay, that's a good idea. There are some slight changes to that one, deals with public comment time. So we can certainly do that, assuming this passes tonight. And we did have a lot of discussion on 824. I mean, we've been through it before, and as I said, Mrs. Sullivan said, I think this is kind of in everybody's agreement, but if not, they can still comment on either one of these. So do we have anybody who'd like to comment on either? Anybody else? Okay, if not, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks for your work on that policy committee. Okay, on to, where are we here?
Bills.
On to the financials. Okay, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We have for your discussion and action, we have bills for payment. That's for the general fund and the cafeteria, as well as requisitions. We have property assessment changes. And again, those come from the Franklin County Tax Office. And then we also have some exonerations for you. Those are for the occupation tax bills, which we just discussed.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Holtzman? We good? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Blatant cabinet comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Harold. Just wanted to follow up. At this point, we are in the process of reinstating the Washes Drive program. We're in the process of working with the high school administration as well as members of the board to get that program up and running within the next week or so. So it's just an extension of the program that existed at one point in time, but we are going to add that to WASH's in a afternoon, evening setting moving forward.
Good. Anything else? Goodbye.
I was just going to say, in addition to the fabulous football game, our middle school students performed over the weekend. I believe the title was High School Musical, and they did an outstanding job. So it's great to see our students out and engaging in their passions and having that ability to perform on stage.
Didn't you used to do that, Mr. McDonald? Did you ever see that? Yeah. Who's the advisor now? Do you know? Anybody know?
I believe Tina Shabrock
Who did
Okay.
the play?
Yes.
Yeah.
was
Tina
the
Shabrock
director
was?
this
Okay.
year. And
Okay.
I guess in the past, there's been a number of people. So
Harry Flegel used to do that some too, right?
yeah, so it
Okay.
was great to have the students give that students the opportunity. The middle school play has always been in or so.
Did you start that, Mr. McDonald?
No.
Was that way before you?
Doug Chris did it for me. David
Okay.
Kahn did it for me.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln did it.
Okay. All right. Good to know that's still going on. That's awesome. Okay, board member comments. No more fond farewells to our departing three. Okay, once again, one thing I think is kind of cool too about the three, they're all working with students, whether it's Mr. Wenger up at Mont Alto with students, Mr. McDonald at the middle school and St. Andrews or Bakeville, the permanent fixture at Summit View for many years. So again, good luck in the future for you three. I know you guys you're not gonna sit home and, watch TV and twiddle your thumbs all day. So you'll be on something. So when we need volunteers, we'll be calling you. Don't worry.
Anytime.
Okay, great. So thanks again. Okay, and now for our second public comment. If anyone would like to speak at this time, please come on up.
America Brocious, 13224 Delaware Circle. I just want to let the community as well as the board members and the administration know that there was a very large write-in campaign for some changes to occur with the board. And with that being said, typically when there's a candidate already listed on the ballot, the write-ins usually only get 2 to 4%. The reason I think it's important to let you all know and let the community and people who are watching know that in WASD, our 4 candidates actually got between 23 and 30%, 37% of the correctly cast vote. That's actually 10 times what a write-in usually gets. The reason that information is so important for this board and for the incoming members is to understand that the community is really watching everything that's going on in here. They're not just watching from some of them have shown up at these meetings, but many of them are watching behind the scenes and they are listening. And there are things that are being said and things that are being done behind the scenes to really make some changes. With that being said, I think it's also important for the board and the administration to realize that the families and the community are here to support our teachers and our students. And right now the teacher contract is in negotiation and it's not been a topic that's been discussed publicly or been brought to light very often. But I think it's important for the teachers and the students to realize that there are a lot of people that are totally in support of teachers. I realized that back in the 70s that some teachers had 25 to 30 kids. This is 2021, and we have the teacher to student ratio is higher than ever. Currently, right now in the elementary schools, we have 29 kids to a single teacher. And although that seems like it's not that much, when you are dealing with behavioral issues and you're dealing with COVID concerns and spacing, it's very difficult to keep the numbers of COVID down when you have that size of a classroom. So I want to let you guys know, teachers right now have our support. They have the ability with the shortage of subs and the national shortage of teachers to really make their contract whatever it is that they want it to be. And I want to ask the board to really step up and support, find the money in the budget. We've just eliminated over $100,000 on the occupation tax. Maybe we can find some other money income to be able to pay these teachers what they deserve, and so that they don't have to take a pay cut to pay for their insurance. They're doing more work now with the paperwork. Their class sizes are larger. There's more IEPs than ever before. They're teaching kids in class. They're also delivering homework to those families who are quarantined because they can't get into the school to get the paperwork and the homework. And then they're also trying to work with the kids who haven't done their homework at home while they're on quarantine. And then with the shortage of subs, we have a lot of teachers in the district right now that are supposed to be maybe not a reading specialist because that program was eliminated, but they're supposed to be helping in the classroom. And unfortunately, they're having to teach music class and gym class. And even the principals are stepping in to do these kinds of things. So I want the board to know that and the teachers to know that the people are backing you. We have the support to be able to encourage you to step up and stand for what's right. You guys deserve to be, you are elected in this position, and hopefully you can find the money to support our teachers. That's what makes this public school system work, is our teachers.
Anyone else like to speak tonight?
Rebecca Sanders, 214 North Potomac Street in Waynesboro. I wanted to talk tonight about the Laurel Life contractor, the position of our social worker. I believe that's who that person was contracted through. The election for the school board got a lot of community attention, as you guys know, obviously. And with that community attention, I really thought it would be a good opportunity to engage everybody that had a lot to say with the inner workings of the public schools. There's a lot on the plates of everybody that works for the district, and community support, community involvement in the individual lives of the students is a good thing, is something that there are different programs that are offered in Pennsylvania, and I don't know what is currently being used or available within this district. So with that thought, I communicated or attempted to communicate by emailing our social worker, Marianne Glockner. Perhaps I don't.
He passed away.
I know,
Okay.
and that's very unfortunate and sad. And I realized that after a couple of weeks had passed. And my condolences certainly go out to her family, to the Laurel Life community, to our school district. But also concerning to me with that news was that I didn't receive any automated email back, no notification that this individual was no longer with our district. I'm really glad that it was just me for those purposes reaching out and not somebody that really needed a social worker. So that was concerning. But with that being said, I didn't see in the Laurel Life address that we had earlier whether or not that would be still a contracted position, if that would be something that we are hiring within the community, being that such a position, it's very important that that person is tied in with the community tightly. Just not sure. You don't have to answer. I just,
But
if someone-
Ken, if you want, would you like to
So I
respond?
just want to clarify, that particular social worker, it services the middle school and the high school students only. And it's actually a grant that we were able to secure through WellSpan, through the Wayback Foundation.
Okay.
So that is a grant-funded social worker, and we're in our third year.
Okay.
And so she is considered a Laurel Life employee. However, she's contracted out. The district at this point has supported through a memorandum of understanding, but it is a grant-funded position.
Okay. Excellent. And that I imagine a new individual will be assigned to that position?
We are in the process of interviewing, and I believe we have a recommendation. Again, that is something separate from the school.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the
Yeah,
clarification. I
Sure, and it
didn't
and
know.
it is a little, and it was a very very generous grant that we were able to receive. The Way Back Foundation received it through WellSpan, and there's very tedious work that needs to be tracked with that. And so I was able to finish the interim report, and so we will be able to extend those services until the end of this school year.
That's awesome. I'll look forward to keeping up to date with that, and thank you all for your time.
Anyone else like to speak tonight? If not, this is just informational. Our next meeting will be very brief with probably one agenda item, which involves approving potential new employees. That will be a Zoom meeting on November 23rd, right? 23rd, 7 o'clock. Public comment could be submitted like we did during COVID, that Mrs. Kuzer will take care of, and then forward to me, and then I will be able to read those public comments that are submitted. That means that our next meeting after that will be at Clayton Avenue on December the 7th, with the main purpose of that meeting to welcome our new board members with some other agenda items, probably not super long though. A lot of that's just figuring out committees and things like that. But right now we are saying that so the next meeting will be Zoom, very short. The one after that will be back at Clayton unless things change. And that's our intent at this point. Missing anything?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good. Okay.
You got it.
Who would like to make the motion to adjourn, you three?
Yeah.
Mrs. Bechtel, who's been here longest.
Move to approve.
Adjourn.
Move to
And
adjourn.
second in
Sure,
unison?
1, 2, 3.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? None.
it?
Okay. So
have another
back in
executive
person
meeting?
on the, yeah, and we will be having executive session we will not be returning from.
Thank you.
Okay.